It is the first quarter of my new normal. I am telling you, I cannot believe time went so quickly. I'm in my third month and my third country. And I must say, I am simply surprised because somewhere or the other, I thought that by now I might start panicking about something. But what I thought I would have panicked about, not that. It's about other stuff. So let me give you guys an update about my first quarter of my new normal. Let's go. This is Paula Simon, a believer who decided to do a 180 on my life. This is my new normal. I give up the home and the job, and I'm out here to discover what Paula really like, what Paula really want, and along the way, work with my Father's plan for my life. As I said, I was prepared that I would be concerned about something or the other. But I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that regardless of what popped up, I would have never regret leaving or thinking, oh, I should not have done that. The one was off of the table. I might have started regretting that I should have prepared more, I should have gotten something done, whatever the case might be. Because I was looking at how I usually behave with everything. I'm going to start thinking I should have done more or I shouldn't have done this or whatever the case might be. I'm out on the road and somehow or the other I am getting comfortable, or there isn't this anxiety about things going wrong. Or when a situation pop up, usually I might have gotten upset whether it's the way I'm staying or whatever the case might be. But I am relatively relaxed about it. And I think that happened because in the first month, when I went out to Albania, the country is beautiful, but they have a problem with addresses, and location is one way and location, you think you're going one place and it's somewhere else. And then because there weren't much like hotels available, or the hotels that I recognize the brand. There's always small hotels. You go on like booking.com and you see these different hotels. I'm not familiar with them. I don't know what's the policy. So really and truly, I have no intention. It has to be I'm back in a corner for me to go and start staying in those hotels. So let me share a little bit of my experiences so far. The first country I went to is Albania. Let me talk about the things that I love most about the country is that regardless of where you turn, there is abundance of fresh vegetables and fruits. You don't have to even reach to the supermarket, although there's supermarkets there. You got better deals with fruits and vegetables. It's easy to walk around. There's transportation galore everywhere you turn. There are buses. There's no trains in Albania. You need to go to any place, there's a bus to take you. It's good for walking. If you like dessert, you have a sweet tooth, you're in business there. If you're a person who loves coffee and like the coffee shop, hanging out or places to go and work on your computer and things like that, it is there. The things that I do not like about Albania is one is you get a direction or you get an address for a place. You think it's one place you go in is somewhere off on another street. So it's not that easy for you to follow an address. Don't even worry with the GPS. Most of the places are not on the GPS. So you might have to hope and pray there's a hotel or a big business that you could use that as a landmark. Next thing too is the water. I guess persons might drink it, but it is scary to me because you put the water down, there's a settlement. When I say a settlement, it's not a thin film. There is a settlement of white stuff. I don't know what it is. I use the pot to boil an egg, and I use that pipe water to boil the egg. You boil the egg, you take the egg out the water, cool, and there is a settlement that you could write a message in at the bottom of the pot. So you have to have bottled water to drink. And next thing too, they have this bathroom set up where the shower is open. Someone said it's a wet room. They're accustomed to taking showers and this water spill all over. In my head, you see a wet floor a wet bathroom floor, the next thing I'm thinking about is that you falling and cracking your back. So that was one thing dealing with from one Airbnb to the next Airbnb. I have to say, for the very first time since I'm traveling, I changed 5 Airbnbs in a short space of time. Because there was one problem with one you had to change. The next one, you could only stay there for a few days and I had to go to another one. But nearly everyone, with the exception of the second one, that was a newly renovated apartment, not a building, just the apartment was newly renovated. But to get to that apartment is like walking through a construction site. And again, the driver put me out way out on the road, and then the host came and picked me up and we walked through. By the time I reached in the place, I really looked like I went in a construction site. My shoes was full of dust, even my pants had dust. There's a mess. So that was it with Albania. I stayed about 7 weeks there, and every one of the Airbnbs, there was a problem like that. Either the water or where you're going, well, it goes without saying. You go in a place, you have to have the host speak to the taxi driver. Because even you think the taxi driver would know, they don't know. And they're like 5 minutes away from where you're going. But because of that, and you have bags, you will say, okay, let me take the taxi. The taxi driver don't know. So you have to make sure the host is there to speak to the taxi driver. And even then, there's a whole big argument. It sounds like an argument to me. The movie could be just speaking normally. But it sounds like a big, full-blown argument. They going back and forth. And the driver's still circling. And it took forever to get where you're going. So a 5 minutes drive, be prepared, might be half an hour. Trying to figure out. Everywhere I changed, I had that taxi problem. And this whole bathroom situation. And another thing too, they say so much stuff on Airbnbs. When you actually reach to the apartments, 5 or 6 of them isn't there. So I don't know if Albania prepare me for the rest of my travels, because after a while, even my friends that I was talking with, I stopped talking about all the troubles I was going through. I stopped talking about when you think one thing fixed with the bathroom is another dripping in the water. I stopped because I realized everybody got their own concerns. Secondly, is that talking about this situation was just not doing me well personally. So I said, you know what? This is it. As it popped up, I talked to the host, and in some cases, I just look at it and ignore it. But that is one of the things I was like surprised about myself, is how I just, not too long into it, decide I'm going to just let this situation go. There wasn't much hotels. I think it just was one Holiday Inn, and they were full. Something maybe was happening in the city. So I realized that with the exception of the Holiday Inn, was the Holiday Inn or the Hilton, one out of those two, there wasn't any other hotel that I recognized the brand for me to go to. So I said, I'll go through with the Airbnb. There's with Albania. So you had the great vegetables and pastries. You had pistachio nuts, where you could get a big bag of pistachio in like $4 or $5 US, which is unheard of. Another thing too is that like the prices were constant. Even if you go into it looking like a health food store as against the corner shop, there was never a major difference in the pricing. It might be like $1 or $1.50 difference, which usually in America it don't be. The whole food place or the supposed to be natural and place was selling the nuts, their prices will be far higher than the supermarket. It wasn't like that. In that area, Albania was nice. You find that a lot of places the roads wasn't good, it's just the main place and things like that, but it's their country. I enjoyed it, and that was it. Moving from Albania, I went to Montenegro. Somewhere in my mind, I think that Montenegro might have been a lot like Albania, but it's different. The infrastructure is better, they have better roads and things like that. To find a place, to have the addresses and things like that. But the whole abundance of fresh fruits and vegetables around, no, you're not seeing it. You're not even seeing as much coffee shops because in Albania, every area you go to, you're going to find a coffee shop. You're going to find somewhere to people hanging out. They're going to have the grocery stores. They're going to have the little corner stores, we will say in America, where you could always go and get vegetables and fruits. It's not like that in Montenegro. In the city area, and then I took a bus and went out to the city areas. No, it's not like that. And my beloved pistachio, could barely find it. And when you do find it, it's a little bit for a whole lot of money because in Montenegro, they use euros. And euros are weaker. The US dollar is weaker than the euro. So you have to spend more of the US dollar to purchase in Montenegro. As against Albania, the Albania lek is a lower value to the US dollar. So you will get more in Albania with your US dollars as against in Montenegro. So there's a little bit of pistachio nuts and like $6 or $7 US dollars for it. But I thought there would have been that. Even the pastry shop. I went to a place with this big sign patisserie outside. And I go in there and I wanted to say, shame on you guys. You should not be using the word. It's about like 4 or 5 little pastries in the corner. And after coming out to Albania, it was a sad display. Unlike Albania. So that was it. You had the better infrastructure. Montenegro, the buses were better. Even when you drive out into like the areas 10, 15, 18 miles away from the city center, they have great roads. They have homes with sign. It is a better layout. Unlike Albania, this where it had a more small town feel. They had a little bit more of, not quite a bit more than the capital. Obviously in the shops, and they have bakeries, but again you see they have pastries, but it's like 3 or 4 things. You're not seeing much, right? But they had the beach, and there's where I took all those nice pictures and videos and things like that. So I'm going back to Montenegro. I think I will want to go back in that area as against the city, the capital. That, as I said, had a more home feel. It's a bit more lively and everything about that. I enjoy my time there more than in the capital. And I left, and now I'm in Bulgaria. I must say, for the few days I've been here, I like what I'm seeing. I'm looking around. They here to have a bit more. You're seeing places like to eat and restaurants and little small stores. You're seeing them more here than I saw in the capital of Montenegro. The US dollars have a little edge there too, because there's a difference in it. But yet still, to me, you find as you calculate quickly, the prices is not that. It is lower than the US in the few things that I purchased, but yes, it is not a bargain like in Albania. No, it is very much there. Even like the taxis. The taxi here is far more expensive than in Albania. Albania was, more low cost. The difference here is that you could use your credit card on the bus or the train, which is very, very good because I use it on Thursday. I used my credit card on the bus, just like in New York City or in Brooklyn. You could just tap your card, your Metro card or your credit card or debit card when you enter the bus or the train, and they will take the money out. That was very good because then you don't have to worry about getting currency. They have a lot of places here that you could use your credit card, especially Master and Visa. American Express, not so much. But in Albania, find one place, I think one of the supermarkets, I was able to use my American Express. But other than that, it's not accepted as much as MasterCard or Visa. So I find here the bus was very reasonable. Moving from one part, because I came out of Sofia and right now in Plovdiv, That bus was like $7 for the 3 hours drive, which was a very, very nice bus. It was a great drive. You get to see the place and things like that. So let me see, accommodation, while I had a few hiccups, even with the hotels. But the difference with hotels is that if you don't like one room, they're going to transfer you to another room. With Airbnb, it's a whole story, you trying to get them to sort it out. But all those hiccups that I had is nothing that for me to give up everything on. It's not anything different than I had experienced before with traveling, and it is normal with traveling. It's nothing out of the ordinary. I didn't lose anything. So I gotta say, my first 3 months out on the road in that area has been good. My biggest frustration is with myself because I expect to change quickly. 18 years of doing one thing, I want overnight to change. That's just not happening. But what I realized the minute I start giving myself grace and just say, you know what? If you get up every day and you write 2 lines, 2 sentences, that is good enough. I find that I'm more encouraged to get up, and sometimes when I check, okay, I write about 10 sentences. So that is great. And what I'm going to say this is that we all have to change. It might not be as drastic and as crazy as mine is. You might have to change the job. You might have to change your diet. You might have to change a form of a relationship. Whatever it is, you might have to change. And one of the concerns is that if I change, this might not go right and this might not go. But the other side of it is that you might change, and that change is instantly might be for your betterment. In some cases, it might take a little rocky adjusting for you to realize the benefit of the change. But either way, it's going to. My hope or my dream, and I pray to God it is that someone will look at this video. I might not know you. You might not even heard of me before. This might be the very first time, and it might be the only video of mine you might look at. Is that you realize that it can be done. It can be done. The things that we say that we cannot do, the minute it crosses our mind, the minute we even consider it, that means it is possible. And as a believer, we know that our Father talks to us in me books in weird ways. Because I say it, who knows, some very esteemed Christian person might hear me say it, and they might have a view about it, but it doesn't matter because I have a personal relationship with my Father. And before I said it, he knows I was going to say it. He is one crazy dude. So he would be coming to you with an idea, and if you have to stretch, if you have to feel a little uncomfortable about it, that means it is of God, because that means that you will then have to put the whole concern, the whole uneasy feeling, could I make it possible? All of that you will have to put right back in his hand for him to help you to do what he would like you to do. And that is something I struggle with years, because how am I going to ask God to help me to serve God? It just don't make sense. It's like if I owe you money and I say, oh, you know what? Let me say I owe Tony money. I say, oh, Tony, you know what? You need to lend me the $10 so I could pay you back your $5. Or you need to give me $10 so I could pay you back your $10. That doesn't make sense, right? That just don't make sense. But with our Father, we have to ask him to help us to serve him, to help us to carry out his plan, because his plan is bigger than anything that we could do. So in order for us to carry out his plan in our lives, and in order for us to be his foot soldiers, we need him to help us to do what he would like us to do. Sound a little weird, but that is it. So if you're there and you know you have to make a change. Or even if you don't, but whatever it is not working, it is not serving you anymore, and you know it. Don't wait till all hell breaks loose. Don't wait for them to fire you before you start looking for another job. And the minute you might entertain the thought that this is where I need to leave here, Father, I don't know where next, you could get a call. You might get a call from some headhunter who tell you that, oh, they look at the resume you send in. And you say, oh, I never send no resume to you, but that's how our fathers work. And you get it, but because you're not getting that job, because you're seeing it, but you don't mean it in your heart that you're ready to make that change. So others say, oh, I need to leave this, work it and work it for me. But really and truly, if another job pop up, you will start picking the other job away, picking it away. I don't think they do this. I don't like my kind of people. But they're asking me to do this because you're not really ready. But if this discomfort is happening, if you get this idea, I think I want to do this. But how it is going to happen, you don't have to worry how it will be done. That is not your concern. The only you have to do is acknowledge it. Go to your Father. This crazy thing is telling me to apply for here, but I don't have this qualification. And you just rest in it. Father, if it is from you, please reveal it to me. And you relax, and I'm telling you this. I am standing here, and I'm saying it not because of what I hear people say. I read the Bible, and I know all what God had done for thousands of years for all his followers and his disciples and other believers. But I am saying it from someone who have personal experience in some crazy ways in which God show up and show out in my life. So when I tell you that God worked, I'm telling you God worked because I have the receipt to show God work. And you know what? I don't have a husband, I'm not wealthy, I ain't got family with contacts, I ain't got a whole host of friends in different ways that going to pop up, I'm not part of any group, I ain't got no contact. The only contact I have is the contact, the main contact. That is a relationship I have with God. And when He's ready to work in my life and He's ready to work in your life, He's going to move mountains. He's going to make people who don't like you. He's going to make people who everyone say is the worst person out there. And that person is going to open a door for you. And then they will go back to the old nasty ways of closing doors to everybody else. I have a testimony. So just trust God in it. Just know that whatever He's telling you to do, He has a plan. And He's just waiting for you to say yes. One last thing. I was speaking with a friend day before, not last night, the night before. And she was saying, she's out here in Bulgaria. And she's saying, oh, Paula, we are so blessed. It's something I always say. And as she said it, this thing popped in my head. I turned to her, I said, we're not blessed. We're just experiencing the blessings that we choose to accept. Because when God tell her to make changes in her life, and when He told me to make changes in her life, you know how much millions of people around the world He tell them to make changes in their life? Some of us did and some of us didn't. So what we're experiencing now is not because we're special. We're experiencing because we choose to. We got up and decide to participate in the blessings, and the end result is that we're blessed. It's not that we're blessed and then we start enjoying the blessings. No, we choose to participate because God is talking to all of us as His children. It might not be to be in a different country, as I said before. It might be, you don't know what. It's a job, it's a relationship, it's sometimes even your health. He's nudging you. Go to the doctor. I ain't able to do this. I ain't know what's going to happen. I too scared. Somebody went to the doctor and they say this. Even that, trust God in the process. If you can't do it, especially if you can't do it, the mean it is God. Ask Him for guidance. Go to Him. He will show you what next to do, and everything will fall into place. So, if you are new to this channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber or visitor, welcome also. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notification button so YouTube will let you know when a new video is uploaded. And most of all, please share. It will be greatly appreciated. Not all videos is be this long. Not all videos be like I preaching. But share. It will be appreciated. So have a great day, a week, a month, and share what God is telling you to do. And if you had to make a change before the steps you make, take it from me, you share it, someone will learn from it. I don't know when, but especially with YouTube, these videos will stay on for forever, amen. So someone who knows next 10 years down the road might see the video, read your comment, and they will be able to change their life. So bye, trust God in the